It's no secret that WB has been doing my dog Superman dirty for a good while now, to the point where the general public has no genuine interest for the character, despite arguably being the most iconic superhero of all time. That lack of love is especially shown in some of the more recent adaptations of the character, where they deem it necessary to deconstruct or alter the character entirely in order to grab the interest of some people. We're really living in a timeline where there is a severe lack of Superman adaptations that accurately capture the essence of the character and why he's so important to the overall DC universe. Despite that, there really is only one live action adaptation that I think is really slept on and does a pretty good job in conveying the beats of a proper Superman portrayal, specifically with what Superman represents. The actor just perfectly captures the mannerisms and compassion of Clark Kent while also being able to lock in and get serious whenever a threat arises. There have been some misconceptions on this adaptation based on other DC projects that surround it, but this adaptation is easily the best live action modern take on Superman by far. And of course I'm referring to the one and only Tyler Hoechlin from Superman and Lois. What, you thought I was talking about that bum version from the DCEU?
Get that fucking shit out of here, bum ass nigga.
Hey, I know a lot of y'all are sleeping on this show. Believe me when I say that people behind this series are some of the only folk left I've seen demonstrate how much they understand Superman as a character. This easily is the greatest portrayal of the Clark Kent and Lois Lane relationship on screen, unlike the DCEU where they have like no chemistry, but the emotional beats of this show are actually very much carried by their performances and the writing surrounding the dynamics within the family. The family aspects are a really big part of this show, with the emphasis on the twins Jonathan and Jordan Kent. Now I'm not gonna lie, when this show was first announced I had no excitement for it whatsoever. I thought it was gonna end up just like the rest of the sludge that comprised the catalog of DCCW Arrowverse shows. You're telling me they're making a drama focused Superman show on the CW? I'm like, ugh. Brother, ugh. Genuinely was expecting some goofy levels of writing akin to the likes of Supergirl and later seasons of The Flash, as Tyler Hoechlin's Superman first debuted in the Supergirl TV show with this ugly ass suit. Not to mention how they went out of their way to blatantly say to your face how much stronger Supergirl was in comparison to him because, you know, she's the main character.
The whole time I thought I was fighting Zod. No, I was at full strength and you beat me. But Kara just defeated me. She's the champion of Earth.
I'm humbled by you. You are so much stronger than me.
You really are so much stronger than me, Kara. I feel safe hanging up my cape for a while. It's because of you. The world doesn't need Superman if it has Supergirl.
See, I didn't know I came here to be disrespected.
Aside from that though, they do kind of gas him up when he's first introduced, as literally everyone in the show is just in shock and awe when they first encounter Superman or Clark Kent.
Hi everyone, this is my cousin, I guess you already know.
It's an honor, sir.
Pleasure.
You know she was bringing him here.
No.
Oh, he's coming toward me. I have a million questions.
Your cousin smells terrific.
Enough. Okay? You didn't tell me that you know Clark Kent? Oh, God, not you too.
Do I have anything in my teeth?
No.
Funny enough, to my surprise, when Superman and Lois turned out to be one of the best live-action DC shows ever put on the CW platform. The only reason I had even watched it was because folk were claiming the show was actually decent, on top of the fact that the series had a higher budget than that of a typical CW DC show, as it was produced by HBO. To make things even better, the show isn't even in the same continuity as the rest of the Arrowverse shows. It may take place in the same multiverse alongside those shows like Titans and Doom Patrol, but it's clearly on its own Earth outside the Arrowverse shows, as Sam Lane states Superman is the only hero on the planet, which clearly wouldn't be the case if it was connected to shows like The Flash or Supergirl.
And the leagues of superheroes they have on them. We only have your father on this planet. Thank God, because he's the finest.
Also, the Crisis on Infinite Earths event had Lois pregnant and showed the birth of Jonathan Kent, while Superman and Lois clearly shows that they instead had twins and they're teenage boys instead of, you know, infants. Now, the show isn't perfect or some 10 out of 10 masterpiece, as at first glance it might seem to have some slight CW drama mannerisms with, you know, like Jordan Kent, for example, as they make it seem like some out of the ordinary thing that he suffers from social anxiety.
Jonathan was easy. Always happy. Always smiling. Things with Jordan were more challenging. A year ago, he was diagnosed with social anxiety disorder.
Okay.
Brother, that's like half the population of modern teenagers. And while I actually do think that the writers handle the drama competently, some of the weaker aspects of it come from the Cushings or like Lana Lang's side of the family. Sarah Cushing. One moment there's a great emotional moment with Superman and his family or a cool action sequence, and then next thing you know we gotta focus on Lana Lang's daughter having a hissy fit because she got slapped by her mother or something.
I worked my ass off.
What, as the mayor?
Go to your room.
Yeah, go ahead, boss everybody around like you usually do.
Face.
Probably why Dad cheated on you.
She slapped you?
That's why I was so upset last night.
Girl, you acting like you never had an ethnic parent before. The first episode alone already convinced me that they were cooking with this version of Superman. Just little moments to show his personality and looking out for the little guy.
There you go, friend.
Thanks. Cool costume.
Thanks. My mom made it for me.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
For me, this served as a really good palate cleanser after all the Snyderverse caca I've had to endure for the past handful of years or so.
You speak multiple languages. Is that also a superpower?
No. I wanted to know more about different people, different regions. I study their languages.
What would you say to the people of the world when asked what you stand for?
I'd like to think everything good and decent.
Seeing Clark be a father is honestly one of the best things about the series, whether it be one-to-one heartfelt moments with his sons, him interacting with Lana Lang, and just seeing the livelihood of how the people of Smallville operate and what they represent. But don't let the Boy Scout-esque persona fool you. As much of a lovable guy as Clark is, he will stand on business if the situation requires him to, especially when it comes to the protection of others. Throughout the course of the show, Jonathan was dating a girl whose dad was just an absolute psycho who stole his truck and even went as far as threatening Lois with a gun. And when Clark found out about this, bro was on some straight demon timing.
Clark, are you okay?
Nope. You hit my son, pulled a gun on my wife. You and I are gonna step outside so we can talk. I'd really rather not do this in front of your daughter.
She hasn't seen this before.
If you ever threaten my family again, I will come for you. Now leave.
Damn, Kent.
I'm sorry to interrupt everyone's dinner.
Without a doubt, this is one of the best portrayals of Lois Lane ever put to screen. The show never sidelines her. She's not some annoying love interest on some Iris West CW type beat. Clark isn't dumbed down or made lesser than just to give Lois the spotlight or make her seem superior as a character. There's actually a healthy, stable relationship between Clark and Lois that is present throughout the entire course of the show. The writers treat her like an actual character with storylines revolving around her and her family, leading to some of the best emotional, gut-wrenching scenes one can lay their eyes on. I'm about to get into some massive spoilers for season 3, so if you don't want to know the pretty big plot point, just skip right here. I'll give you a few seconds or so. You still here? Alright, cool. A big plot point in season 3 is the reveal that Lois Lane was diagnosed with cancer, and the way the show leads up to it and how the cast deals with that, delivering some of the best acted and well written scenes conveying how much the Kents acts as a family.
Because I'm facing something uncontrollable too. I just found out I have cancer. All day, I've been trying to hang on to hope. Much stronger than you think you are.
Guys, your mom has something she wants to tell you, but before she does, we are going to get through this as a family.
I was just diagnosed with stage 3 inflammatory breast cancer.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
This may be a small thing, but it's actually nice to see Lois fall in love with Clark Kent rather than her fascination with Superman being the driving force for their genuine relationship.
I am not interested, okay? I'm in love with someone else. Clark from the paper. I know he's dorky, but I love him.
Right, the guy with the glasses.
I feel like even those who are somewhat fond of the Superman character, along with many other adaptations, seem to neglect the Clark Kent side of the character, which is a pretty big reason as to why they have such a fundamental misunderstanding of the character itself. It's not the spectacle or the epic action sequences and power set that make him one of the GOATs. This show doesn't shy away from giving light to Clark's life and how it affects the choices he makes every day. Superman is not some god amongst men who should be praised like he's Jesus. He's a farm boy, husband, a loving father, and a good friend.
You like baseball?
Of course. I mean, who doesn't like America's pastime, Miss Lane?
What'd you say your name was again? Never met a Clark before.
Oh, I've never met a Lois before.
There are a multitude of ways to have a character with an absurd amount of powers and abilities go through interesting conflicts, as this is shown with Clark's struggles with, let's say, loss, or just figuring out how to approach his sons as a father, especially after Jordan gets his powers. There's an interesting take here where instead of both twins getting powers, Jordan, the socially awkward one, is actually the one who gets abilities while Jonathan doesn't. And in typical CW fashion, you might expect some petty rivalry or tension between the two brothers that would last multiple seasons, or the writers making Jonathan get overly jealous because he didn't get any powers, but the show actually handles this dynamic really well. Yes, they might get into some arguments or fights here and there. I mean, they're teenage brothers, what else would you expect? Even with that in mind, you still see Jonathan looking out for Jordan, or better yet, just them looking out for one another, and Jonathan being able to find his own purpose to help others later on in like season 3.
Jordan, imagine this big log is Cutter's face. Pop him. You got it.
Come on, believe you can do this and you will.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, sir. Oh my God. Line it up again.
There are also some really cool, wholesome moments seeing Clark mentor his son as he's still learning how to control his powers. I really like the gradual buildup of Jordan's abilities instead of him just mastering and obtaining all of his abilities in like 4 episodes of some bullcrap. Hey bro, go watch Superman Lois if you haven't already. If you don't like it, I mean, hey, that's cool. The show ain't made for everyone. Nowhere near the garbage fest that has become of most CW Arrowverse shows, as it's a competently made show with people who actually understand and like the character of Superman behind it. Every single actor in this show does an impeccable job. The cinematography in comparison to every other CW show is magnificent. The VFX aren't like movie levels of quality, but a lot better when comparing it to the other Arrowverse shows. The family dynamic is done masterfully. Even the side characters like John Henry Irons, Lana Lang, or Sam Lane are given proper care throughout the course of the series. Character writing's phenomenal. Acting is just spectacular. No Spider-Man. So far, this has been the best adaptation of Superman in the past handful of years. I really hope James Gunn's cooking with his new Superman movie. It's all on you, bro. We low-key might be in a bit of a Superman resurgence era. Bro's finally getting a solo theatrical film since the release of Man of Steel in 2013. I think it's really cool that both Superman and Supergirl are pretty much going to kickstart the new DCU, with the Supergirl film going into production after the Superman film wraps up production. It's time for an entire generation to put some respect on my mans and his mythos. Season 4 of Superman Lois is said to be the final season, which doesn't surprise me as I figured they would end the show before the start of James Gunn's universe. It's a little odd how we're getting 2 live-action Batman simultaneously in theaters with the Brave and the Bold in Matt Reeves' universe, but the only prominent Superman I guess we can get is via the DCU, but it is what it is. I'd rather the show end on a high note than go on for like 6 more seasons just to fall off. There's finally a modern cartoon on the character. His main run in mainstream DC Comics by Joshua Williamson has been pretty solid so far. Superman fans, rise up. Our time has finally come. Just look at this roster right here. Bro, the cast for this movie goes dumb hard. Yep, already better than the DCEU.